Hey everybody, want to Weasem here. It is a little after 4 a.m. Wednesday, July 2nd, 2014. We're going to pop back over here to the spreadsheet, going to set myself up on the toy box path. Now, the guy on the portal is Single Pack Wind-Up. Again, he is available, I guess, about a week, 2 weeks ago. I believe it's when I picked him up at GameStop. Also there, I found my second Riptide, which he's a character that has eluded me for quite some time. At least the second one, obviously. Got the first one long ago. That said, just took the Winder path. That one actually panned out pretty well. I love the extendable, boxing glove hand. Does 120 to 180. That's pretty insane. That's really the only like salty damage number you get. Everything else is kind of like just tied into things that aren't flashy, but make Wind-Up a pretty dadgum impressive character. Of course, the Soul Gem plays a heavy role in that, and it'll be available here with the toy box path. That said, that's what we're going to do. Toy box, gain toy-based attacks that will help keep enemies off their feet. Speaking of that, in the base upgrades when I got Spring Shot, and then the Winder path, which was with the same character, obviously never taken off the portal, first dummy that I shot seemed to stay in a perpetual state of being launched by Spring Shot. Everything I did against him was a critical hit. I was worried that if I, went into a solo survival or pulled a character or something, I would lose that, and that has happened. I tested it as soon as I switched the wind-ups, and this guy's back to box. Or like standard damage numbers on that. It's not critical every time. So when we get out of here with the first toy box upgrade, I'm actually going to showcase that, and then I'm going to do Spring Shot on that guy and see if we can maybe replicate that. It's kind of a freak deal. It was really cool though. So we're going to come in here, toy box, we will select that path. If you get to this point and you're unsure, back out, watch my videos, go to oneofweasem.com, check out the spreadsheets with all the damage numbers. It will help you make the best choice for your wind-up. So if I just had one wind-up and I knew nothing about anything, I would have done the Winder path. Again, why? Because I thought the boxing glove looked cooler than the symbols. The toy gun does look pretty awesome, but again, it was just kind of a toss-up there. I thought that the other stuff down Winder kind of would remedy his weakness, which is really, of course, once you've done Wind-Up, he's slow and vulnerable, and it covered that as well. It's just you don't really get anything else. It's like, oh wow, this is awesome. It's the stuff that's awesome. It's just not easily appreciated by most players. So we're going to select this one. Alright, first thing we get, again, my price is reflective of 18 Wing Sapphire, so the price is $10.88. What you would need with that max discount to fully upgrade your Skylander, a Newlander that is anyway, would be $9,088. Also note, if you watch him during the animations, and even right now in the background, when he kind of like jolts, he'll shoot springs out the sides. Kind of an interesting deal. Hold Y to charge a symbol attack, release to attack all enemies in the way with a pair of symbols. Now again, like I said, the boxing glove appealed to me more. However, if this does damage or is like quicker or something to fire off, I'll keep an open mind. So we're going to go ahead and pick that up. There's all the springs coming out. But we'll probably take these one at a time. I'm going to come over here, and just to showcase to you, I'm going to do his primary attack. It was last touched with power pistons, and with that we should be dealing 25 to 38. Oh, you're kidding me. I promise he was not doing that. Okay, so apparently that guy is still launched for some reason. So this is still Mr. Critical every time, which is really cool. If we have time at the end of this video, I'll just like pull him and test stuff out with another character. Anyway, let's go ahead and test out symbols here. So, I guess he's ready to go. He's got him. He can move. 26. Well, let's see. So as soon as they appear, he's ready to go. So 26 and 36. Half of 26 would be 13, so 39 would be critical. So I'm thinking there's going to be two tiers here, 26 to 39, and then the second one, what was it, 36? Yeah, so 36 to 54 is what it should be there. 26 to 39. first hit, and then 36 to 54 second hit. That's really the best way I know to describe that on the spreadsheet. Let's test that out, see if you really can get critical numbers, and the best way to do that is right here. Since this guy is Mr. Critical now, this dummy, what we can do, when we hit off the symbols, we should see 39 and 54. And we're ready to go. There we go. This is like super convenient. How it happened, I can't tell you. I was just simply testing out the spring shots. So, I can't complain. Now let's go ahead and wind up a little bit. I don't think that's going to change the damage numbers. It does not. Oh wait, what just happened? Why did he fire that off so many times there? Huh. Let's see. So he can do 2 or 6. Interesting. So, just alright, so when he's unwound, it's gonna do 2. This is getting complicated now. So gotta come back up here. Second hit. Unwound equals 2. And then if we come in here and we wind up twice, we'll do 6. So now I've got to change this 26 to 39. First hits I'm gonna put, and then 36 to 54 I'm gonna change to last hit, because that appears to be what it's like. So I'm gonna wind up all the way here. 6 seems to be what he maxes out at. He's still wound up. Still got a little bit of juice. Got 2. So I don't know, it appears to be tied in with the 2 taps that you wind up. Obviously the third tap you would start wind up, which you then wind down, if that makes any sense to you. I think that'll make sense. Don't hold me to that. There I was saying he might be easy to document. Now, next upgrade down the toy box path is crash symbol. Symbol attacks do increased damage, an easy way to crash any party. So now, all we've got to do is kind of step out here and see how much of an increase we actually pick up. Again, we were doing basically 26 to 39 and then 36 to 54. So 34 and 42. So let's come over here. Okay, so 34 to 51 first hits. And then what was it, 42 to 63 last hit. And I say that because when we come to a normal character, as we wind up our second time in there, we should do 4 hits. There you go. So 34 to 42 there. Now we're going to come in. We wind up 2 times. We should see. Yeah. So 6 hits there. Okay, so how should I word this here? Symbols 26 to 39, 36, last hit, 1, 2. Yeah, I'm just gonna add wound in there. So unwound equals 2 hits, wound equals 6 hits. I think that'll cover everything. And of course now 26 to 39 became 34 to 51, which is a pretty significant increase. And then 36-54 became 42 to 63. Also a pretty nice bump there. Plus, when you consider you can fire them off when you're wound up, that kind of offsets the 120 to 180. You have to realize 34 5 times is going to be 170, and then 42, that would be 212-ish, I believe. So roughly 212 standard numbers with that, which easily exceeds the winder punch, is 120, even 180 critical. So factor in critical numbers down crash symbols, and he's clearly outperforming that. So now the thing that appealed to me the most down this path is toy gun. Hold X to shoot rapid fire suction cup projectiles at enemies. Price $19.20. This should be interesting to check out. We'll save that in case you're watching this before you watched the winder path that I've already taken. So X button, of course, what does that do? That's our spring loaded, and that's why this guy is critical hit. They'll get 28, and then this dude will do 32 every time, because somehow he's perpetually launched. I don't know how. Anyway, if we hold X... Oh, wow. So 18, let's see how many times, maybe. I think 8. Okay, that sheet kind of yeah, I'm thinking 18 to 27. 8 times. Now let's come over here. Yeah, 27. So 18 to 27 is what that's going to do. And let's go ahead and wind up and make sure it stays the same. Yeah, so that's going to have no bearing on it. Again, that may seem insignificant, but when you think that you're going to do 18 damage 8 times, that's what, 80 and 64, which would be 144. Pretty impressive, I have to say. Now, coming over here, the Soul Gem, which this is actually, it's not flashy, it's not fancy, it's probably nothing anyone talks about. Number one, the speed jumps from 43 to 58. That's a plus 15 boost, which is very, very valuable. But more importantly, while you're running, particularly here, auto wind up down the winder path, as you took damage, it filled the meter up. Now, when you do wind up and you're weak and slow and you're like, oh geez, I've got to evade and not take much damage here, as you run away with your increased speed, that will actually spring load the crank and refill the meter for you, so hence the name. Price with our discount $25.60. Speed is increased, automatically wind up while running. Again, not something people are going to talk about. I didn't notice the gear change either last time. The key became like gear, so that's kind of cool. Actually, I like the key way better. But, I mean, even just coming out of there, you can kind of see what it did. I'm just going to wind up here, and you see the meter is wound down, and this is where he's like super vulnerable. And you're like, oh geez, but the thing is, he fills the meter up himself, and he does a very good job. So, pretty cool. Now, what I'm going to do here, I have to say, just like a quick recap, I'm actually inclined to say Toy Box is going to be the best path for beginners. For anyone unsure, you cannot go wrong with this. The damage numbers may not be as high as the 120 to 180 that you saw with Wind Up Punch, but you have to remember, you can fire these off in rapid succession, all of the stuff here. It's all very worthwhile. The symbols, again, aesthetically, not my cup of tea. I prefer like the Toy Gun and the Wind Up Punch, but very, very effective path, and most importantly, this one is super simple to execute. You literally just hold buttons down and it does it for you. The winder path, I still think, may have great value, primarily because as you take damage, you're going to refill the meter, which then in turn lets you use power crank, which is kind of his big whirl. He's going to pull enemies in and do the damage. Actually, we didn't get to check that bonus damage there. 20, well, I guess we did 24 to 36, so it just, those two aren't flashy, but they tie in well together. That path will take more skill, it will be more trouble to set up, and it'll probably be more difficult to master. Toy Box, if you just want to take your character down a path that's going to work and make him way better, you cannot go wrong there. So Really, for beginners and people in general, I would go with Toy Box. If you want more of a challenge and maybe with a bigger payoff, not necessarily in damage, but just in overall character function, Winder Path might be the way to go. That said, Toy Box, despite not being able to take damage and refill, with the Soul Gem it kind of offsets that, because I mean, let's just do it right here. I'm going to wind up, you saw the sheep get pulled in, there's our damage. He doesn't stay low, he fills up to about halfway, and then the 3 twists and you're full blow. But right here, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3, about 2 seconds of running and you're fully charged again, and you can execute the wind up if you're so inclined, or you can just use the cymbals and the suction gun. So very well-rounded character in my opinion. Now that said, what I want to do kind of like as a bonus treat for everybody, I'm going to get up here and we're going to pull wind up. Again, that was my new single pack wind up. I'm gonna put Kickoff Countdown on. He's one of my favorite characters actually. And what we're going to do is see if he can perform over here. So, Rocket Blast with this guy, 1929 is a critical number. So you can see the 19. I want to see if this guy still stays in critical form with a totally different character. It should be 29 every time. No. So he sadly didn't. I guess the character change did it. Now, he had lost that when I put wind up on, but after I talked to Gorm, it came back. So, I'm back out of here, and let's see what we've got. Okay, so yeah. Now, just to fully test this thing, let's pull Kickoff Countdown and see if wind up. This is going to be my story mode wind up, the one down the winder path. As you can tell, obviously, okay, that's why I didn't notice the gear and the key change, because he's got the hat on. So, again, I personally actually prefer the key over the gear, but let's see here. Let's just keep it simple. We'll do power pistons, basically. So what was that, 25, 38, I think? There's our 25. I just want to see if this guy stays critical. He did. That is freaky. I don't know what happened here, but it's very, very interesting. Again, I'm doing nothing shady, nothing tricky. I would not have the time or the know-how to edit this crud in. There's a 38, but it was like a genuine critical number. I mean, I'm rattling off the sparking hands and power pistons here. 25 over and over. Now, I'll do the same thing here. All you're going to see is 38. I don't know how to explain that. Like I said, it's when I tested his tertiary, which is spring shot, and I literally just came out and did that. And everything then became critical with that guy. As you can see there, 54. It gives me an idea, of course, what that's going to be like in solo survival type situations with a launched enemy, but like this dummy has just stayed perpetually launched. I switched characters out to my single pack wind up and he was registering standard. I talked to Gorm, came out, and he was back to critical. And then I thought, okay, let's test it with a different character. So countdown, kickoff countdown is not upgraded yet. 19 to 29 is what his rocket blasts are. He was doing 19 on everything, including this guy, yet when I put wind up back on, it's critical every time with everything. I mean, literally anything that I do here is critical number and critical number only. So that is very interesting.
That grinds my gears.
The sheep will get out of the way. Again, 180, we're going to fire it off every time because it's got like some perpetual launch spring shot critical hit glitch, which is epic. Anyway, I may play around with a little bit more, throw Firecracking or Grim Creeper or somebody on here and confirm that it's just like it is with the countdown, but kind of a cool deal there, and I thought that was worth taking some extra time. Will it ever happen again? Probably not. That's usually something you can't get to repeat, but there you have it. Once again, wind up, very, very solid character. If you like him and you thought, man, I'd like to get another one, but I don't want to spend money on an adventure pack, what would I do with that junk? Although you probably wouldn't have minded having another groove machine because it's awesome. But My advice, if you really like him, go out and find single pack wind-up. Obviously, collectors and purists are probably going to go out and get him just for their like package collection completion goals, But for those of you that truly like him and you thought, man, I don't want to spend $25 to get a second wind-up, and then the people that buy the packages and open them and hawk them on the internet, they're selling them for $20 anyway. Now you can get him for $10, and if he's a favorite character of yours, that's definitely the route to go. Like I said, unless you just really want like the Platinum Sheep or the Groove Machine or something to paint or, I don't know, decorate with, I guess. Toy box path is probably the way to go for 90% of people. If wind-up's not your favorite character and you don't really care to spend time with him, take toy box. If you're a beginner and you just want, hey, you want to wisdom, what's the path I can take with this guy that's just going to be, great and make him functional and beat my friends and be good in story mode, toy box is the answer. If your question is, hey, everyone's doing toy box, what's Winder about? Winder is one of those deals it's almost like you've got to be in a situation where you're taking damage. You're either up in nightmare mode against overpowering enemies, you're getting slaughtered in whatever survival challenges you're doing, and as you take the damage you refill and then you can just rattle off power crank, and as you run away with the soul gem you can have that and auto wind up work in conjunction with power crank, and then you can set it up to actually have strategic times where you can unleash the winder punch. And do your 120 to 180. So, and spring shot would actually tie in well with that as well. If you got enemies that you could get in that state, like we have this dummy, you'd be doing 180 with winder, you'd be doing 36 with power crank, and it would make your life easier. It's just not as pick up and play friendly as toy box, and that's why I think overall I would have to recommend toy box to people. Which path do I prefer right now? Toy box is actually the more impressive one. That said, I still prefer the boxing glove of the winder path, and I think personally once I kind of get in the thick of things with him, I'll probably wind up liking winder. But again, 90% of people, toy box, no issues. Even if you're inclined to take winder, you want the challenge, if you take toy box, I don't think you'd really have any complaints, in part because the soul gem kind of overrides the auto wind up in that path. But I'll quit rambling here. That's kind of my thoughts now. Again, if you take that link at the top of the video description box, you'll get my final thoughts, my official recommendations. You'll see the spreadsheet with all of the damage numbers for wind up. That's about it. You'll see the base upgrades, toy box, winder. It'll help you make the best choice for your wind-up. Make sure you are subscribed. From here we're moving on into undead and the water element upgrades. Don't want to miss those. They will be just as informative and helpful, I hope. That's the ultimate goal here. But as always, make sure you're subscribed. Thanks for watching. You can follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, circle me on Google+, whichever you prefer. Once again, thanks for watching, and I will catch you back here next time.